Operation Mockingbird, the CIA's secret media manipulation program. In the early 1950s, as the Cold War intensified and fears of communist expansion gripped the Western world, the Central Intelligence Agency embarked on one of its most ambitious and controversial domestic operations. This program, which would later become known as Operation Mockingbird, represented a systematic effort to influence American and international media, shaping public opinion and controlling the narrative around critical geopolitical events. The origins of Operation Mockingbird can be traced to 1948, when Frank Wisner, a veteran intelligence officer, was appointed to lead the Office of Policy Coordination, a covert action wing within the newly formed CIA. Wisner understood that the battle against communism would not be won solely through military might or traditional espionage. The war for hearts and minds required a sophisticated propaganda apparatus that could operate both abroad, controversially, within the United States itself. The architect of this media manipulation strategy was a man named Allen Dulles, who would later become CIA director. Dulles recognized that American journalists, with their access to information and ability to shape public discourse, could serve as invaluable assets in the intelligence community's efforts to combat Soviet influence. What began as informal relationships between intelligence officers and friendly reporters soon evolved into a comprehensive program involving hundreds of journalists and dozens of media organizations. The recruitment process was both subtle and strategic. The CIA targeted journalists at major American news outlets, including the New York Times, CBS, Time magazine, and many others. Some journalists were willing participants, fully aware they were working with the CIA. Others were unwitting assets, manipulated through carefully cultivated relationships with intelligence officers who posed as sources or colleagues. The agency offered these journalists exclusive stories, access to classified information, and in some cases, direct financial compensation. By the mid-1950s, Operation Mockingbird had grown into a sprawling network. The CIA had relationships with reporters at every major wire service, newspaper, and broadcast network in the country. These journalists would plant stories favorable to CIA interests, suppress information that might damage the agency's reputation, and provide intelligence officers with information gathered during their reporting assignments. The operation extended beyond individual journalists to include publishers and media executives who could influence editorial decisions at the highest levels. One of the most significant aspects of Operation Mockingbird was its international dimension. The CIA established and funded numerous foreign media outlets, particularly in Europe and Latin America. These outlets served as platforms for anti-communist propaganda while maintaining the appearance of independent journalism. The agency also worked to influence foreign journalists, using the same tactics employed domestically to shape international coverage of American foreign policy and Cold War conflicts. The scope of the operation was staggering. According to later investigations, the CIA had relationships with more than 400 American journalists and owned or subsidized over 50 newspapers, magazines, and publishing houses. The agency could effectively plant a story in a foreign publication, have it picked up by international wire services, and then see it republished in American newspapers, all while concealing the CIA's role in originating the narrative. The ethical implications of Operation Mockingbird were profound and troubling. The program represented a fundamental violation of the principles of a free press and an informed citizenry. By secretly manipulating news coverage, the CIA was effectively conducting propaganda operations against the American people, undermining the very democratic values the agency claimed to be protecting. The operation blurred the lines between journalism and intelligence work, compromising the independence and credibility of the press. For years, Operation Mockingbird remained one of the CIA's most closely guarded secrets. The agency went to extraordinary lengths to protect the identities of its media assets and the details of its propaganda operations. Journalists who participated in the program were bound by secrecy agreements, and the CIA used its influence to suppress stories that might expose the operation's existence. The first cracks in this wall of secrecy appeared in the late 1960s and early 1970s, as the Vietnam War and the Watergate scandal eroded public trust in government institutions. Investigative journalists began uncovering evidence of CIA domestic operations, including its relationships with American media organizations. In 1973, a Rolling Stone article by reporter Sal Rubel provided some of the first public details about the CIA's media manipulation efforts, though the full scope of the operation remained hidden. The breakthrough came in 1975, when the Senate established the Church Committee, named after its chairman, Senator Frank Church of Idaho. The committee was tasked with investigating intelligence abuses by the CIA, FBI, and other agencies. During its investigation, the Church Committee uncovered extensive evidence of Operation Mockingbird and other CIA programs that violated American civil liberties. The committee's findings shocked the nation and led to significant reforms in intelligence oversight. The Church Committee revealed that the CIA had maintained a network of several hundred foreign journalists and dozens of American journalists who provided intelligence and planted propaganda. The committee found that the CIA's media operations had been conducted without proper oversight and had violated the agency's charter, which prohibited domestic operations. The revelations sparked a national debate about the proper role of intelligence agencies in a democratic society and the importance of maintaining a free and independent press. In response to the Church Committee's findings, CIA Director William Colby issued new guidelines restricting the agency's relationships with journalists. These guidelines prohibited the CIA from entering into paid or contractual relationships with accredited American journalists. However, critics argued that the reforms contained significant loopholes and did not go far enough to prevent future abuses. The legacy of Operation Mockingbird continues to resonate today. The program demonstrated the vulnerability of media institutions to government manipulation and the ease with which propaganda can be disguised as legitimate journalism. In an era of social media, algorithmic news feeds, and declining trust in traditional media, the lessons of Operation Mockingbird remain deeply relevant. The operation also raised fundamental questions about the relationship between national security and civil liberties. Proponents of the program argued that it was a necessary tool in the fight against communism, a way to counter Soviet propaganda and protect American interests during an existential struggle. Critics countered that no security threat, however grave, justified the systematic deception of the American people and the corruption of the free press. Modern scholars and journalists continue to debate the full extent and impact of Operation Mockingbird. Some argue that the program's influence has been exaggerated and that most American journalists maintained their independence despite CIA efforts. Others contend that the operation had a profound and lasting impact on American media, shaping coverage of the Cold War and other critical events in ways that served intelligence interests rather than the public good. What remains undisputed is that Operation Mockingbird represented a dark chapter in American history, a time when the CIA prioritized secrecy and control over transparency and democratic accountability. The program serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked government power and the importance of maintaining robust oversight of intelligence agencies. Today, as concerns about disinformation, foreign influence operations, and media manipulation dominate public discourse, Operation Mockingbird offers important historical context. The techniques pioneered by the CIA in the 1950s, planting stories, cultivating relationships with journalists, and using media outlets as propaganda platforms, have been adopted and adapted by governments and other actors around the world. Understanding this history is essential for recognizing and resisting modern forms of media manipulation. The story of Operation Mockingbird is ultimately a story about power, secrecy, and the fragility of democratic institutions. It reminds us that a free press is not simply a luxury or a convenience, but a fundamental pillar of democracy that must be vigilantly protected. It demonstrates that even well-intentioned efforts to protect national security can cross ethical lines and undermine the very values they seek to defend. As we navigate an increasingly complex media landscape, the lessons of Operation Mockingbird remain vital. We must remain skeptical of official narratives, demand transparency from our government institutions, and support independent journalism that serves the public interest rather than the interests of power. Only by learning from the mistakes of the past can we hope to build a future where information flows freely and citizens can make informed decisions based on truth rather than propaganda. The full truth about Operation Mockingbird may never be known. Many documents remain classified, and participants in the program have taken their secrets to the grave. But what we do know is enough to understand the operation's significance and to recognize the ongoing need for vigilance in protecting press freedom and democratic accountability. In the end, Operation Mockingbird stands as a powerful reminder that the price of liberty is eternal vigilance, and that the greatest threats to freedom sometimes come not from external enemies, but from those who claim to be protecting us.